Godrun is a phrase many use in roguelike games, titles which are defined by death. You go into a game, hope it's your day, and even if it isn't, try nonetheless. It's not hard to decode what godrun means. When everything goes well, when you get constantly lucky, fueled by good items, that it seems impossible for anything to stand against you, no matter how careless you are. Death, the mechanic all these games depend upon and identify with, isn't in the back of your head anymore. You're too distracted even to consider dying, till you get humbled when the game drains your confidence away. Everything there was in that run is now nothing. When we think of death itself, we think of a loved one dying, family or friend, going to a funeral, coping with this new and gloomier world. When we think about ourselves dying, we picture how our loved ones would do the same for us. That's usually the bittersweet part. But the physical pain of maybe dying a horrible death haunts our mind. And each limb begins to imagine the pain of that death. But that's just a slice that hides away the worst part. Catching the final breath and the rest of it. Everything about that hits a corner of the brain, trying to suppress it. No matter how bad the pain is going to be, it doesn't matter anymore, since it isn't a bigger loss than losing sight of the world itself, going to an absurd unreality where you are not even aware that nothing exists. Everyone wishes when their time is running its last steps to be surrounded by loved ones, friends and family, to forget about this aspect of dying while they lie on their deathbed. We want to not think about dying moments away from death. Most of us who are still alive live our lives with bliss. We don't think about dying because we don't believe we could die. We only hear of other people dying and think about the consequences. We would never be in a disaster, catch a disease, or make the mistake of being in an accident. Within, we all have this confidence that yells immortality. It's never I who dies, it's them. For the arcades, all death meant was another quarter from somebody's pocket. The arcade business strategy is one that profits off the player's failures or their aspiration to win. So the game consisted of impossible mountains to climb, where the summit is so high above it can't even be seen. Nobody actually won these games. The winning scream was a myth to people told through stories, and this invited people who got something to prove, as they took time to master every step to play it perfect. But as the video game market shifted to home consoles, arcades were losing their ground. So it wasn't much of a technical or financial problem if your game was easier to go through. On the surface, it's even better. We as humans love to win. And more than that, we don't want the taste of losing. To add some new dimensions to games, some had to be left out. In many games, because of how easy it is to score a win, death has little to no meaning. Depending on the design, this could be a worthy sacrifice or an unworthy one in a boring game. But for death to mean anything, the life of the player has to mean something. Each step and action of the player should be like a chess move, with consequences, tracing your footsteps, the past mistakes, to hunt you down many moves later. To achieve that, you can be cruel. To expect the player to put up with anything, small inventories, forcing you to run circles around enemies who can kick you miles back, to crawl without enough resources. But no trick is as crucial as a limited amount of chances. If you have only one more chance, then it's sacred. It's not important how far you are into the game. It can make your first mistake your last. So you tend to be less risk-taking and more careful, knowing your chances of surviving failure is none. Seeking shelter and staying out of danger is a must. When confronted with it, escaping it suppresses every other idea. If there is no running away, no shield to hide behind, only then you take a risk, by force. If you win, it means everything, since you got to live on. That moment will unleash out a wave of relief in your mind, as if you escaped the claws of an animal. It means that much. But the situation would have had little to no value if death wasn't permanent. Not every failure of inputs leads to a death screen that mocks you. Some can be quick, or some just quick enough so you could retry over and over again till you reach victory. From that angle, there is no losing it, just trial and error, bashing your head against the wall till you see the other side. But the option of giving up on the challenge is always present. You can decide to leave and accept that I am not made for this, though in the cell of your heart you want to give it another shot. The one death mechanic that my mind can't stop thinking about is one that doesn't lead to death at all. There is no challenge of hitting the right button at the right time. It comes from a game that emulates the nostalgic feeling of chatting with a friend every now and then, commenting on music, school, talking about other friends, deciding on what to do and how to hang out, seeing how the world shifts so as your friendship and relationship with the other person, deciding on what to do or say can make this friendship grow over time. But it can do the opposite too, getting nastier as time goes by, mistakes coming out of hiding and wounds which don't seem to heal with words. This relationship sours as years go by. It becomes so unbearable that it spills into normal day-to-day conversations. All you can do is cover up your past decisions that seemed like the right thing to do or say at that very moment, but it only made the other person feel worse. When enough time passes, you think, now it's my chance to fix the broken bridges, while the other person has no interest in crossing any of them. The more you try to cover it with tapes and spits, the more obvious the scars become. There is nothing to be done about this, no matter what you say to win a little friendship back. At some point, it doesn't even allow you to say what you want. The game refuses these words, whether if you mean them or not. The failure screen doesn't come out of nowhere. It waits and lets you breathe for the final time, make the last attempt at survival, then forces you to accept defeat. What your heart wants to say clashes with the uncontrollable, and it has no chance of winning it. Death is a defining factor in any game that is a part of. Deciding its consequences shifts the game in new directions. Even though in concept, it's a bottomless pit of nothing. It's as meaningless as the word meaningless gets. It might not be the void that we think it is. We just have to wait and see it. But from here, it only has meaning because it puts an end to the most meaningful thing anyone who has ever lived knows.